Hi everyone, well we're going to be going on air in about half an hour's time, and our special guest today is Professor Mohammed Yunus. Thanks very much for thanks for coming to see us. And we told you that Professor Yunus was going to be on the show about 24 hours ago on the blog, and we've just printed out some of the messages for you to have a look at. One thing that's coming out from a lot of people in East Africa is they feel that microfinance is being abused by people who lend out with too high interest rates. They then don't have enough time to pay back, and often wives are getting into trouble with their husbands because the husbands don't know that they've taken out these. Is this a situation you recognise?
No, not in our case, but when things like microcredit becomes popular, many people reinterpret and redesign their idea of microcredit and make things which becomes pretty ugly.
Does that get frustrating?
Yeah. It's frustrating. At the same time, I feel that probably it's a price you have to pay when something becomes global and you don't have any training facility to train up everybody. So they hear about it, see a BBC news or some report in the newspaper, we should do that. And probably donors are available. The moment you do microcredit, they give you the money, but the two are using the same word for different purposes. One thing, microcredit means this, and the other one is, yes, we are doing microcredit because we are lending money to the women, but you are not looking at the terms and conditions and the environment and so on and so forth. So this is something that we hope as we go up, expanding more, it will clean down. Those fake ones will disappear and the genuine ones will stay on.
For those of you in Africa, we will be getting a lot of different answers from Professor Yunus during the course of the programme. This is a question I'm very interested by. Let me see if I can find it here. Where have I put it? Well, I think it was Roy in Washington wanted to ask you whether you feel like poor people are naturally more honest, because the payback rates you've got of your loans are way better than the big banks which are struggling at the moment. Do you think it's something inherent in people who don't have much money, or is the way I have been explaining it, I'm saying that all human beings' natural tendency is to remain honest. It's the environment will force them to move away from their natural choice. Yeah.
They tempt them, they attract them, they force them. So once you create an environment where they can stay at that basic place, where they are preferred place of being honest, they stay there, whether you are rich or poor, so it doesn't matter. It's a question of how we create that environment so that you feel that you are rewarded, you are compensated for that, and people feel happy about it. So the system that we built in Grameen Bank or Microcredit helps that position, that it says that being honest is the best return you can get. Compared to the option that you have, you become dishonest, take the money, disappear, don't pay it back, then you have no more money coming to you. So you said it's much better to stay there, pay back, and continue to take the money and move on with your life.
You probably won't be surprised to hear that thousands of our listeners are furious with the banking system at the moment. Do you feel a lot of pressure on your shoulders because you've got a bank which is still functioning? Do you feel like there's a pressure to deliver a system which might be able to work on a grander scale?
It's a very clear kind of situation right now with the crisis. The big banks with the collateral, with the lawyers behind it, couldn't sustain themselves. They're collapsing. The Grameen Bank and Microcredit, not only in Bangladesh, globally still functioning very well. So it raises a very basic question about the validity of the structural design of all those institutions. They are not saying that you do it, but the fact that the question marks have come on the conventional banks. Is it the right kind of structure? Is the right kind of procedure? Maybe this is a good time to redesign the whole system and learn from each other.
We'll have to see if our listeners want that to happen, something that drastic. Where are we? It's just half past the hour, so we're going to be on air in about 30 minutes' time. If you're watching this after the show, you can listen back to listeners discussing every issue to do with banking when you click on podcast when you're on the blog at worldhaveyoursay.com. If you're watching this before the show, send us a comment in as soon as you can, and we'll see if you can get an answer.